Ciao,
everybody. Ciao. Welcome everybody to this week's episode of the Nightcap. I'm Levi Stevenson, joined by Matthias Schwarzkopf and Aiden Wyatt. How's it going, guys?
Good.
It's going wonderful.
It is.
I got Iowa State basketball proudly representing today.
Look at that! Isn't it a great day when we can actually like wear basketball shit and
This
not be ashamed?
This has not been brought out this season until today.
But now it's seeing the day. Now it's seeing the light
reason,
of day.
which we'll get into it a little bit later, though. You know.
Yeah. We'll do that after. We've got a very special guest today. It is former Iowa State wide receiver Josh Lenz. How's it going, Josh?
What's going on, fellas?
Another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise.
Love to hear it.
That's one of the standard, one of the standard 3 or 4 responses that you're allowed to give as an Iowan. It's either another day in paradise, living the dream, or, I'm okay. Or whatever.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Or talk about the weather.
Well,
it's snowing out.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
So, but before we get into talking about Josh, we should say thank you to our wonderful sponsors over to Stoss Bar and Grill in Ames. They've sponsored our podcast for a couple of years now, and now we're doing all sorts of stuff. They're helping out with our next crazy project with the Nightcap. So we really appreciate that from them. They've been I've been seeing them. They've been posting specials recently. They've been giving away food at this point. But today's Taco Tuesday, as always, which obviously, a little bit late, but if you want to go over there and grab some tacos or whatever afterwards, they serve them. It's all you can, they still have their every day as an all you can eat taco bar for $8 for it's 4 hours from 11 to 3. It's crazy good. Up until midnight tonight, actually, is $1.17 tacos. So you still get Taco Tuesday well after the show. $3.50 orders of tots today, 4 p.m. to midnight, $2 Jaeger shots, $2 Corona bottles. They've got really good deals every single day, especially Tuesday, obviously Taco Tuesday. Head on over to Estas now not now, after the show.
Or now.
or whatever. We need to talk to Estas about having this show go they'll pull it up on the TVs at the bar.
Yeah, I think they're live streaming it there.
Oh, hopefully that'd be awesome, man. They do that. If people can have their super cheap tacos while they watch the show.
Do a live show of who gets the quickest at Estas.
We need to make that happen. Do a live show from Estas. That'd be a lot of fun. But anyway, so if you're looking for some good food or some nice cold beer, or some delicious cocktails, you can head on over to Estas Bar and Grill in Ames. All right. So Josh, it's good to have you on. Thank you for coming on. We're excited to have you.
I appreciate it, fellas. Aiden, appreciate you reaching out. Sorry I didn't get back to you right away.
Hey, no problem. Just glad that you made it.
Yeah.
We ignore Aiden as much as possible as well. So.
Probably a good reason you didn't respond to him right away.
We find out later Aiden just texted him 100 times right in a row.
Yeah, after the 10th time I finally gave in.
He started calling you at midnight and it's God damn.
Yeah.
Okay,
my wife was starting to question stuff, so.
All right, so let's see, fellas. We'll talk about at time at Iowa State a little bit. So obviously, you came from Dubuque, a nice, good Iowa kid. What was your decision making for coming to Iowa State? Obviously, you like me grew up, deep in the heart of Hawk Country over here in Eastern Iowa. So, what was kind of your decision making for going to Iowa State?
Yeah, honestly, to be completely honest, I grew up an Iowa fan, so that pains me to say it now, but I did.
Right.
I mean,
see you later, Josh.
Thanks for coming. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I know it pains me to say that, but no, I mean my whole family was, and just in the recruiting process, I really just fell in love with Iowa State and what they were doing, and at the time I was actually getting recruited by Chiswick and his staff, and really liked where the program was going, and in Iowa, they were kind of tiptoeing around, and they actually wanted me to be a preferred walk-on, and they said, we want to see how you do your senior year, and when they kind of said that, I was like, I want to go to a place that appreciates me and really wants me, and so I actually committed before my senior year to Iowa State and never looked back, and so I'm glad I ended up going that route. So
seems to have worked out for you, anyways.
Yeah, it was a good time. So
Well, we'd rather have you as a cyclone than Haka, that make this little call a little bit easier,
At least you redeemed yourself. That was a rough start to this interview. And
I was gonna say it pains me to say that, but I gotta be honest.
Did you at least have like some sort of like ritual burning of all your old Iowa t-shirts at least or anything?
Oh yeah. I got one of my buddies. It's actually one of my buddies, and he's still a big Iowa fan. And so I just reached out to him. I'm like, hey man, you can have all my stuff. And so I just gave him everything. So
the total exorcism to your friend.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think while we're on your early days here at Iowa State, I did some searching up on the interwebs today.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's worse than you think it is.
Yeah.
I think I know where this might be going.
I found something, and I think this is early on in your Iowa State days, because everybody, our friend of Wide Right Natty Light, Jake McDonough, looks rather young in this thing I'm about to show you. So we're gonna dive into about 2.5 minutes of just pure joyness. So without further ado,
I know this is going.
Wait, what do you think it is? What do you think it is?
I'm not even going to say, because just in case it's not that, I don't want you to find that too.
I had no intentions of doing this, but I found it like literally 30 minutes before this started, and it's too great to pass up. So without
it is pretty good.
Keep in mind when he's playing the video,
I know what it is.
When he plays a video, they won't be able to hear any of us. So we'll talk about it after the video clip's over.
So without further ado, something really great. So here we go.
Phenomenal.
I'm just a small town boy, born and raised in Iowa with joy. I took the midnight train going to ISU. No, this ain't Florida. We don't grow oranges with love. We just got cornfields going on and on and on and on. Texas is too damn big. All they do is dance and shit. But in Iowa, we know how to hold it down. We're just Iowa kids. We pull the hottest chicks. I've seen some of the girls you brought home. 300 pounds? Oh my god. My name is Bobby. They call me Curly. I'm not an Iowa boy, but I'm an Okie. But that's okay, because you know me. I be driving in my Rover with my homies.
I'm from the WI, and Trump calls me cheese. I know all you southern boys wanna be me. I'm on the lake from dusk till dawn. Then it's time to go home, cause the Packers are on. Peace out.
You kidding, man? Wisconsin's whack.
My name is Jay Lenz, I'm reppin' I, and on the hottest days, I be bailing hay, and when it's cold out, and it's snowing.
All right. My last line.
Oh my goodness. I was afraid that's what it was going to be.
My question is, how did this come about? What led to the moment that we're gonna make this video?
So every year during training camp, all the freshmen have to do a talent show at the end, and so you get up in front of all the upperclassmen and you do something. And we were like one of the last ones to go. Everybody else, they get up there and they do something and they just get booed, boo, whatever. Our thought was, okay, we can make this video and just show it and not have to get up there and do anything in front of everybody. So we showed this video, and everybody just erupted. Like they loved it. Like it was the best show ever. And so it worked out. I mean, I don't know. The guys loved it, and yeah, I don't know. And I'm just, I need to delete that.
The best thing is that it's still under your name on YouTube.
Oh God. Oh God.
Oh.
My goodness. When you said that, I just knew exactly what.
Well,
what it was.
Aiden's like, we need to find a certain clip, which we'll talk about later too, of your highlights and stuff like that. And then I was like, all right, I'll start searching. And all of a sudden, that's like the second thing I found. I'm like, this is too on par for Wide Right Natty Light to just skip over and not.
We're not letting that one go. Not at all. The internet remembers. And
how many views that have?
How many views? Like 13,000 or something.
That's 13,000 views.
Yeah, it was something crazy.
I wonder, like, if Hooray for Ames were still on YouTube, that would probably still beat that one in views. But just for pure rewatchability, that one might beat Hooray for Ames.
Nicholas says, "Play that song at
my
my funeral."
We can make that happen.
Live performance, get the band back together.
Oh my God, it's got to be
Get the
live.
boys back together. Yeah.
Before McDonough went and decided to be a cop, he was making all of our podcast intros and stuff
he
like
made
that.
He made the intros for a couple of our podcasts. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I remember when we were at Iowa State, he made one for us. I think it was with Twista too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was pretty cool. So, but yeah, guys,
phenomenal.
Damn you guys.
Outstanding content right there.
Yep.
So which of your former teammates do you keep up with the most right now?
Probably Jake Knott, honestly. Him and I were roommates throughout Iowa State, and I mean, he was my wedding, I was in his, and yeah, so probably Jake. And then I golf with a few guys, Pat Mulcahy, Drew Davis. Those guys are in our golf league, so I golf with those guys. So, but yeah, those are probably the guys I keep up with the most. It's tough to, when guys kind of go their separate ways after college, and
sure, yeah.
But
do you know where Steele Jance is?
Yeah, do you know where Steele Jance is?
Do you guys follow his Twitter account?
He has an active Twitter now.
Yeah. I forget who found it, but somebody found it. And
I know he has a
he's
Facebook
alive.
account, but I didn't know he had a Twitter account.
Yeah, Twitter, Facebook. He's alive. Yeah,
he's alive.
He's alive.
For the longest time, I wasn't sure because after Iowa State
disappeared.
Yeah, it was wild, but yeah, he's around. Yeah, you have to follow his.
What is Steele like in person?
Steele?
Yeah.
I mean, he's an interesting cat. He was
only
pretty
imagine.
quiet.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
he was pretty quiet. Good teammate. Like worked hard. I mean, did all the right things, but just kind of kept to himself. And yeah, just like I said, just different, I'd say, but good dude all around.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of like the thing that it pops up on like a message boards or in Twitter every so often. People are just like, God damn, where the hell is
Steele Jance?
Where's Steele Jance?
That is easily our most requested podcast guest of anybody. Oh, Steele, easy.
I should reach out to him and see if he'd be interested in getting on. Yeah.
Oh.
Because once I saw, like, because I hadn't seen him on Facebook, I hadn't seen him on any social media, and then he got an account, and so I reached out to him. I'm like, hey man, like, so I don't know if he does bodybuilding or like he works out a ton. Yeah, he is, and I was like, holy shit, dude, like you could have played linebacker for us. But no, yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. I like Steele a lot, and like I said, I think he just kind of kept to himself and kind of did his own thing. So
a few years ago, when Steele was still lost in the void and when nobody knew where he was, I found his brother Truck on Facebook, and private messaged him to like, do you know any, like, is there any chance we could get in contact with your brother Steele at all for an Iowa State?
Do you know where your brother is?
Yeah, do you know where your brother is?
Right.
Or whatever. I never heard back from Truck, but
Yeah, I'll reach out to him. I'll reach out to him, see if he'd be interested in
Oh
getting
my
on.
God.
Because, yeah, he had some big games for us, man. He was good. So,
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so like my senior year, I think he started, and then JB came in, and so I keep in touch with JB too. So he's in town now, in Des Moines. He's going to be coaching. What is Roosevelt? Yeah. So I kept in touch with him, and then Sam came in. So all those guys are good dudes. So.
Yeah, Roosevelt just seems like they've been looking for a coach to just hang around or like get them to that. They want to, move up the level, I guess, of playing and things like that. Yeah. And Jared seems like the guy that is at least going to be there longevity wise, and do good things for them, which is really good because I think the people in Des Moines really want to see Roosevelt do well.
Yeah, no, and I think Mitch did a good job too. So Mitch was he was a GA when I was at Iowa State, and he did a really good job. I'd follow his socials and everything, and I think I ended up following the Roosevelt social, and I mean he just brought some energy back to the program, it looked like, and it looked like they were excited to play for him, and I mean that's what they need, man. They need somebody that wants to be there, is excited about being there, that type of thing. And so I think JB, just his coaching background too, so he bounced around for a bit, and I think he'll do good things for the program, and stick around for a while.
It's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep sticking with your playing days a little bit. You have probably maybe the most impressive highlight reel of any Rhodes player, as far as like the skill position players. I guess I can't think of anybody immediately off the top of my head that would have a better highlight reel. So you had you had some returns, you had some really nice receiving, you had a couple passing touchdowns. What's the touchdown that stick, or like what's your play or your touchdown that sticks out the most to you?
Just like one play,
or multiple.
Well, if we're talking games, obviously the TCU game.
Yeah.
The play that sticks out to me the most was against Texas in the back of the end zone, with our nod, and that was a big one because I mean it was the first time we beat Texas down there in forever,
I think literally.
And so we went down there, and I mean I knew the play, what play was coming when they called it, and it wasn't necessarily open, but Arnaud just kind of threw it up and over, and I just went up and got it and kind of did a toe tap in the back of the end zone. And so one of my uncles actually got me a framed photo of that, and so that one's kind of cool to me, just because beating Texas down there, and I think I was probably a freshman or sophomore at the time, and so
I think you'd have been a freshman. Yeah, that sounds right.
So that was a pretty cool one for me. And then obviously when we beat my uncle, anytime I'd have like a meaningful like touchdown situation, I don't know, he would get it framed for me.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
So he actually did the one with when we beat Iowa in triple overtime, and I scored in that game, and so we framed that one. So that one was cool, just kind of coming full circle, being growing up an Iowa fan, and then scoring against them and beating them our junior and senior year kind of was pretty sweet, to be able to do that your junior and senior year.
Sure. Aiden informed us that you have a particular play against TCU you got a good story about.
Yeah.
A short slant for a touchdown, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So JB was the quarterback at the time, and we had just drove down the field, and we were going pretty quick, and so you can see here in the video, I'm yelling in to JB, and I just did it. I gave him the slant sign. We had a run play called, and I yelled into him that I was running a slant, and he actually threw it.
You changed the play.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Who was the running back at the time? He was probably like, what the hell?
It would have been probably like James White or Jeff Woody.
I'm just looking here real quick just to see, but
it looked like it would have been James White, maybe.
Yeah,
it was actually Jeff Woody was in on the play that time.
Yeah, he was our goal line guy, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
So just to clear it up, you yelled, "I'm running a slant," so everyone on the field knew that you were running a slant, and you still scored on a slant.
Yeah, I can't remember if I yelled it or if I just signaled it, but
can you prove it that anybody besides you or Jared knew that it was a slant?
Probably not. No. I don't know.
And Paulson.
Because I mean, you can see if you watch the video, like you go back, they're run blocking, like they're going downfield.
Yeah.
Like run blocking. And
it looks like an RPO. It looks like an RPO is what it looks like before they really existed.
Yeah. So right.
Just take a gander.
Yeah, they're run blocking. Dude, that's an RPO if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. And so I brought that up to JB, and actually when he moved back into town, him and I were just chatting, and I brought that up. And
you may need to write an article about you inventing RPOs.
There we go. I'm the one that started it. I can get on board with that. So, but yeah, that was a fun one. So that was a fun game for sure.
That was the first time we'd ever like that was TCU's first ever Big 12 game ever.
Yeah.
Ranked at home.
Yeah. They had the longest win streak in the country at that time, and we went down there, and I gave Coach Messingham was our OC at the time, and so I always give him shit. I'm like, hey man, I could have more games like that. Like we should have done that all the time. He's like, I know. I don't know. I should have done it, but no, he's a good dude. He's down at he's the OC at Kansas State now.
Yeah.
So him and I kept in touch quite a bit. He was down in when I was living down in Indianapolis. He was just like on the staff as like an assistant to the offensive staff, and was doing some stuff at IU. So I went down and hung out with him for a bit, and then went up to North Dakota State, and obviously landed in at Kansas State. So he's an awesome guy. So
yeah.
Speaking of offensive coordinators, you had a really interesting one as well with the old Tom Herman.
Tom's a character, man. I like him a lot, and he's a good dude, and there's a lot of stuff flying around, it seems like, all the time, but I liked him as a coach, and no bad things to say about him. So
that's good, because I was just kind of wondering that, because you see all the stuff that like Texas fans post or whatever it may be, because you know how Texas fans are. They're just a little above the realm of everyone else, and they think everybody's worse than what they really are. But obviously Tom Herman did something right to lead Ohio State to a national championship with offensive coordinator, and then obviously get the top job at Texas, and then he did fairly well here at Ames. So I was just wondering if there's anything crazy that Tom Herman that, story-wise that might stick out that might be able to be told.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. No, I mean it's been a while too, so I'm sure there was something at some point, but off the top of my head, nothing crazy.
He's the type of guy that kind of seems like people forget that he actually was here in Ames.
Yeah. People say it all the time. So I was just talking to somebody today, I think, and we were talking about just different coaches and different coaching staffs and how programs are different and based on the coaching staffs and stuff like that. And I was saying that we were, Tom Herman was my OC for 3 years, and they're like, "What? Tom Herman was in Ames for
he was here for 3 years?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I remember him being here, but I didn't remember him being here that long.
That's what I'm saying. Like he was like quietly here for a while, and people forget that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's actually offensive coordinator for this game here. We're seeing the highlights for.
Yeah. This one was bittersweet because I think it was showed earlier. One of the catches I had across the middle, the way I just got tackled, I ended up hurting my knee, and so I was out. I think I had like 3 catches for 33 yards. Yeah, this one right here, and I got
right there.
And so I messed my knee up on that one, and so I was out after that for a while. So a little bittersweet, but it was man, I still get goosebumps just thinking about that game and towards the end of it, and it seemed like no matter what they did, we just had an answer for it, and it was one of those things where you could just feel that we were going to win the game. So I get goosebumps just thinking about it. So
did they awesome somebody like carry you like when they stormed the field? Like where were you when this happened? Like obviously if you had a bad knee, you're probably not moving as quick to get.
I was on crutches, honestly. I went back and then I came back out and I was on crutches, and that wasn't easy to navigate through the crowd.
Right.
But yeah, it was an awesome game. We had a fun time that night too.
Oh, I bet.
I'm sure.
As a sophomore student at the time, I had a fun time that night too.
As a 4th grader, I did not have much fun that
Oh goodness.
But Aiden, you said you were there though as a fourth grader, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. So
Aiden was there.
we almost didn't go. Me and my dad had a deal, not because we didn't believe in Iowa State, but we said if we got down by 4 touchdowns, we'd leave. I think
That's
4
funny.
touchdowns. Yeah.
It's funny you have a similar story because I said to my college roommate at the time, I was like, because we had one beer, we weren't feeling nothing at all, but we get there and I don't know, it's whatever it was, we're down by 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, or whatever. I don't really remember, but it was, it said, hey, if they score again, like we're out. And then I was like, they never scored again, and we like tied it, and it was, rest is history. So I was like,
Yeah.
it worked out pretty well.
Worked out all right.
Yeah. Funny story about that. So I ended up crossing paths with Whedon when I was with the Texans, and he still, years later, he's still pissed about that one.
Still sick
He said
about
that
it. Yeah.
Still is convinced that field goal that was
Yeah,
good.
I was just gonna ask that.
Preview for this fall because this year is the 10-year anniversary of that game, which I can't
Wow.
believe is 10 years ago.
Wow. I'm old.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But I'm going to be doing this big mathematical / trigonometric / physics based
Nerdy
analysis. Like I'm like, nerdy crap, whatever. So like I'm gonna look at like where the ball was, the angle that it was traveling. Look at this film to see where it was over the goalpost. We're gonna do it. We're gonna prove once and for all that it might have gone in, but it doesn't matter.
They're gonna
TBD
go by
if that gets aired or not.
They're gonna go by Jack Trice sometime this fall, like before the season starts, and Levi's could be out there with a tape measure and like
I'm gonna be out there with my
speed
laser.
gun testing out stuff.
It's gonna be great.
Good stuff.
But yeah, that was an interesting one too. My roommate was a freshman at the time, and he's like, I was thinking about going, but I'm gonna go because I want to see Brandon Whedon and Justin Blackman or whatever. And it's it's like what it was just an honest answer from him, or because most of us didn't really think that there was a lot of a chance that we were gonna, maybe even compete in that game, but much less win.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I donned my red stormtrooper outfit and I went out there and sure as shit, I got to wear that thing out onto the field. It was great.
Yep. That poster that they had that year was crazy too. Or the following year with all the fans in the field.
Yep.
That's a sweet picture.
I was honestly convinced after that game because like Darius Reynolds was like posting on Twitter and he's like, "Shock the World Tour continues." And you guys are going to Oklahoma. I was 100% certain that you guys were going to destroy Oklahoma that following week. Just based on that tweet, I was like, "All right, they just beat Oklahoma State. They destroyed the BCS one shot. They're gonna no chance. Oklahoma doesn't even stand a chance right now."
Yeah. Put the mortgage on it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who would have been Oklahoma's quarterback at the time. I think that's too late for Sam Bradford. Was that
would have
Landry
been
Jones?
Johnny?
Was it Landry Jones?
Because when was Johnny out there? It might have been. Who was Manziel out there?
Let's see here. Iowa State, Oklahoma. I googled Oklahoma, Iowa State 2011, and all it is Oklahoma State highlights.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 11-18. So who was the quarterback? Let's see. Damn it, that's still Oklahoma State. I want the Oklahoma game.
It doesn't exist. Remember?
It's just like you have to go to like page 2 of Google, the dark side of the moon, to even get to the game summary. There it is. Okay, I found it. Okay, anybody have a clue who the quarterback for Oklahoma was that year?
Sam Bradford.
You're saying it was Bradford? Josh, who was it? You played in that game.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I have no idea. I didn't pay attention.
Oh no, you didn't play that game because you would have been hurt, right?
I probably, I don't know if I would have or not. I may not have.
So it'd have been end of November, so you might have been fine by then.
Yeah.
Aiden, do you know who their quarterback was?
I believe it was Baker Mayfield.
What? Well, he was there a really long time.
Okay, so you didn't even
Spencer Rattler.
Let's see. You really just you just phoned it in. Okay. Turns out I was correct. It was Landry Jones.
No kidding.
It was Landry Jones. Yeah. So I would say we got a comment from Matt Nelson here. He said, "Josh, for some reason I always remember that first deep ball you caught over the shoulder against was that Northern Illinois." I know you caught it against Tulsa.
Yeah, it was Tulsa, I believe.
Tulsa, yeah.
Yep. That was. Oh,
did I have that here?
Sophomore or That was a sophomore, junior year. Maybe senior year. Maybe senior year.
It's been so long. It's been almost 10 years ago, man. I don't remember any.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither.
It's been a lot of years and a lot of booze in between since then.
Yeah. No kidding.
A lot of years and a lot of beers.
A lot of years and a lot of beers. Oh man, that we should get like that's a t-shirt if I've ever heard one there. A lot of years and a lot of beers.
I think this is it right here, is it?
Oh,
this is it? Yeah, this might have been my senior year.
It. Nice throw from Steele off balance.
Yeah.
Or no, was that if there's your senior year, that'd been what, Sam Richardson probably?
That was Steele.
That was Steele.
That was Steele?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, my senior year had 3 quarterbacks, Steele, JB, and Sam.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would have been like Sam's like first year where he was just played
the
last couple games of the season.
Freshman.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I do got a question for you because you played at UConn. Was that weird?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, it was weird to go out there, and I mean, it was actually a close game, and we ended up. I just threw. I mean, I'm gonna toot my own horn here, but I just threw an absolute bomb on that one too, and so that might actually be one of my favorite plays too, is the reverse pass, and Darius was downfield, and
didn't you have a guy in your face for that one too?
Yeah. I think I took a hit on that one, but that was a pretty fun one.
Yeah, that's always a game that stands out to me. It's just a total weird one-off game because they never played names or anything like that. So
it was a Friday night game too, which was really weird.
Yeah.
Friday night in Storrs, Connecticut. Yeah, and then as Matt Nelson brings up, then Cy got pushed down the stairs and broke his arm.
Yes, I remember.
Just the weirdest game of all time.
I remember that. And it's tough to play too because it's just so dead there. You know, Friday night.
Yeah.
UConn football. There's nobody there. Nobody. Mm-hmm. So it felt like a Friday Night Lights game or something.
Even back then, like UConn wasn't that far removed from being like a Fiesta Bowl or something like that. Like they weren't. Like they were still like sort of halfway relevant back then. Now they're now they're not. But like that was always a weird one.
It was definitely felt weird playing there, but
so this is a question that we've asked that we asked David, and we've asked a couple different people before. Who was your favorite team to play against? Oh wait, what we got here? This is a touchdown, or no? This is your catch on the sideline. Oof. Who's your favorite team to play against, and who is your least favorite team to play against?
Least favorite team probably be Kansas State, just because we never beat them. We
fair enough.
Scored a touchdown with like 30 seconds left or something in Arrowhead, and then got a extra point blocked, and so we lost that way. Favorite team to play against? That one's tough. I like playing against Iowa. I mean, the first 2 years kind of sucked, but our junior and senior year, it was awesome just because the atmosphere. And just having bragging rights my junior and senior year, you know, beating them. And then that triple overtime game was pretty cool. But
yeah,
I'd say, those two.
Okay. Matisse, you got a question for him?
Not at this moment.
Okay. So after you left Iowa State and you were on a few different training or a few different practice squads and stuff like that, what was kind of the NFL journeyman experience like?
It was wild, man. Like you don't realize the business side of it until you get into it. And so I think this is the final preseason game with the Bears, and at this point you're just playing. I knew I wasn't going to make the team or the practice squad or anything like that. So you're just out there just trying to put something on film. And so after this is probably like my crazy NFL story that people just really don't realize is. So after this, I was off for like a month. I actually went back to Iowa State after my rookie year and finished school. So I was off for like a month after the Bears, just training, working out at Loras College, just trying to stay in shape, not knowing if I'm even going to get a call from the Seahawks. Go out there, you do a workout, you're with a couple other guys. After the workout, they said they wanted to sign me. So I signed. I literally went out there with a duffel bag. They're like, hey, come out there, as if you could be leaving right away or coming, staying forever. And so I took a duffel bag and I was there for 2 weeks, got released, went home, just kept training, got a call from the Colts, went down there for a workout. They said they liked me, didn't end up signing anybody from the workout. And I was in the airport heading back to Dubuque and got a call from the Seahawks, and they said, hey, we want you back out here. So I canceled my flight back to Dubuque, got on a flight to Seattle, went there for 1 more week, and they signed Percy Harvin, so they had to shift the roster around. And I knew that morning I would get up every Tuesday morning, check Twitter, and see
who got signed. Yeah.
Yeah, see who got signed. And when I saw that they signed Percy Harvin, I'm like, just waited for the call. Sure enough, got the call. Hey, bring your playbook in. They want to talk to you. It's AKA, you're gone. Sure. And so did that, went back to Dubuque, and ended up going to Indianapolis the next week and was there for, the rest of that season and then the following season. So it's crazy that, you just don't see the business side of it until you get into it. Yeah. And honestly, like, it kind of ruined it for me as a fan. After the fact, like, it took me, I'm a Chiefs fan, grew up a Chiefs fan. And so it took me a while to kind of get back into it. But just because, like I said, you see the business side of it, and
sure, you kind of saw
it is,
the dark underbelly. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's probably that side of it that, you're close.
Yeah.
You just couldn't quite get there or whatever it is. And, just going back and watching other people doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's probably really tough.
Yeah, it was. I mean, because a lot of it is, obviously you got to have skill and be able to play and stuff like that. And I think my second year in Indianapolis, I was running with the ones, like having a good training camp, doing all that. Matt Hasselbeck comes up, and to this day, I'm still convinced that he jinxed me. He comes up to me and says, hey, man, like, you're having a good training camp. Just stay healthy and you'll make the roster. A day later, we're doing one-on-ones, and I pulled my hamstring running the go route. And they ended up keeping me around on the practice squad and everything. And nobody ended up, usually as a practice squad guy, like, you're the next guy up. Mm-hmm. And nobody got injured, and everybody stayed healthy that season. And so it just didn't work out. So that's just kind of how it goes. I mean, you could have had 2-3 injuries on another team and would have been playing, and who knows what would have happened, but that's just kind of how the ball rolls. So.
Was that Mark Trestman as the coach of the Bears, or was that still Lovey?
It was I was Trestman's first year. Yeah.
Yeah. How was that?
I actually really liked Trestman as a coach. He was like the ultimate players coach. Like, try to take care of the guys as much as he could. I don't know if he did a little too much, but
yeah.
I thought he really took care of the players and looked out for their best interests and trying to keep them healthy and all that stuff.
We did have another comment from Dave Bragg, actually. I think you might have answered it when you said you were a Chiefs fan, but was there any particular team that you were hoping to get a call from, or?
Not really, man. Like, honestly, once you get into it, you're just looking to go anywhere.
Somebody.
Like, yeah. Honestly, just as long as you have a job at that point.
Yeah.
So, like I said, when I was playing, I wasn't really a fan anymore. It was just more about trying to land somewhere. So
you're looking for a job.
Yeah. No, but I'd be lying if I didn't say it. As a white receiver, New England. I'm like, hey,
like, you'd have a spot
knocking
there.
on the door. Yeah. So
got any more room for those receivers?
yeah, exactly. So
So if one of the guys that are coming out of Iowa State right now or getting ready to come out that are like kind of on that edge, either back into the draft or probably, maybe going to be an undrafted free agent. If you had a chance to talk to them, would you have any advice for them?
I would say, honestly, like, unless you're like a 4th round guy, just stay, because the amount of guys that you see that go into it, and I mean, fifth round and down, I mean, they have money invested in you, so they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, but you're still not locked in, and it's a big jump. And so, man, just ride it out at Iowa State or, wherever you're at. Cause,
so you're like instead of leaving early, you mean?
Yeah. Unless, I mean, cause, there's some guys that, said, hey, I'm on the fence. And to be honest, I was like, unless you're going to be like a top guy, like it just doesn't make sense, because you could go somewhere and, look at Allen, like went undrafted,
Yeah.
I mean, should have got drafted, went undrafted. And so nothing's guaranteed. So you could leave, not get drafted, and then you're an undrafted guy. They don't have any money tied up in you. And then you could be gone after training camp. And then if you don't have good film or, somebody else that likes you could be done, So I don't know. Unless you're a top round guy, I just don't think it makes sense.
Stick around and get your degree and that kind of.
Yeah. Get your degree, get some experience, get some more film. I mean, if you have the opportunity to, I know there's always a chance of injury and stuff, but that could happen anytime. You could go into training camp and get injured and get cut, So
For sure.
I don't know. Like I said, unless you're a top round guy, you have to stay. You have to. But.
Yeah. And it's kind of, that's always the thing too, is when you see some of these guys leave early that aren't the guaranteed one. It's like, man, what's the deal there? Like, is there someone in their ear, or is it,
right.
There's always that weird question.
Yeah. I mean, you see the money and it's like, oh man, that you go from being a college student to like, oh man, I can make that money. All I gotta do is just work. And there's just so much more that goes into it. Like, you'd be the hardest worker in the world. Go in there, and if it's not the right fit, they may not like you and you may not get an opportunity. There's just so much that goes into it that guys just don't understand. And so, I don't know. I think you got to stay, get that film, get an opportunity to get drafted. And, if you really are that good that you have the opportunity to leave, why not stay, get more film, and have an opportunity to increase your draft stock?
Makes sense. So, with this kind of this COVID year, a bunch of the guys got a free year of eligibility and stuff like that, and a bunch of them decided to use it and stuff like that. But and part of the reason is because I see it's looking like they're going to be really good next year. What's your kind of as a former player, what's your kind of take on the state of the program right now? Since you weren't, you were never there for Matt Campbell. Now you look back at it and see where it's at. What do you think when you look at the program now?
I think it's in a great position, man. I really hope that Campbell sticks around and rides it out. And I think he's that type of guy. I've only met him a couple times, but he just seems like that guy that, what he says is what he's going to do. And, but it is a business. So it's going to take a dream job. And if that comes up, if he's got something in mind, I think he was smart by getting that extension, because if that dream position comes open, it's going to cost them, right, to get out of it. And so I don't know. I love where they're at right now. I think Campbell's awesome. I think they got a good group of guys and everybody's bought in, and that's half the battle is getting the guys to buy in. And if you can keep that up and keep the morale up and all of that, I think it's just going to continue to grow.
So I do have a curiosity though. Do you like the black uniforms?
Yeah, I like them. So when we played, I get maybe some of it is because when we played, we just had the very generic uniforms, no armbands, none of that. Like, we couldn't do any of that. Mm-hmm. And so I think like the farthest that we got is like we would try to like wear the long shirts and like have them hang out, and we're like, oh yeah, like that, that looks tough. But then we get yelled at by the refs, and like, hey, you do that one more time, you're gonna get a penalty. And we're like, God damn it.
Then you got Deshaunte Jones running around with a hoodie on and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I mean, if the players like it, and they like the swag, and I think there's something to it, man. Like if you feel good, play good, or what is it? Look good, feel good, play good.
Look good, feel good, play good. That's what Campbell said on the podcast a few weeks ago.
There's something to it, man. Like if the players like it, who cares what everybody else thinks? Like let them do their thing, and if it gives you that extra little edge that you got that swagger,
it's right
great.
there. Yeah.
Did anybody ever complain about the uniforms while you were there? Like, hey, we need something different. We look kind of, whatever. But did anybody ever like say anything about the uniforms player wise?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they ever brought it to like the coaching staff, or if we did, we'd like say something. They'd be like, yeah, whatever. Like, this is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, guys would like always try to like sneak armbands and shit, and whatever.
I've asked Cole this a couple times, and I want to get your opinion on this because I think I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm curious. Who was the craziest teammate you ever had?
Craziest teammate. I guess what kind of crazy are we talking about? Like
just
batshit crazy,
totally batshit crazy bonkers, dude.
I used to make fun. Well, me and my roommate used to always say AJ Klein took his crazy pills, like when he'd do something kind of nutty. So I always assumed that he was kind of crazy.
I have one in my head that I've heard from a couple different people before.
So my first thought goes to Levi Peters.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the second one that was in my head. Yeah.
He was a special teams guy, and ended up earning a scholarship and everything, and played, and I mean, some of those guys you just had to screw loose. The other one was
Levi had a screw loose. That was 100% fact.
Preston Kaufman.
Oh,
Preston
okay.
at all?
That's a new one.
When we played at Kansas, it's like my freshman or sophomore year. He was like the missile is what we called it. So you're in the middle, and that was back when you could do the double wedges.
Yep.
At the
back.
Yep.
Yep.
And he was the missile that would break it up. And so he would go down there, and against Kansas, he goes down, blows up this wedge, comes back, gushing blood down his whole face is covered in blood, goes into the locker room, gets staples in his head, and then goes back in. I'm trying to think who else. Jake Lattimore.
That was the one I was going to say. Jake Latimer. I've heard his name a bunch of different times.
So the thing with Jake is he's like he's actually like a PE teacher now. Like works with kids and like super nice dude. Like if you just met him on the street, I don't think so. No, I think he cut that off. But he like super nice dude. You meet him on the street, awesome guy, and then something just like flips
the switch.
Yeah, he just like flips the switch and just like. He gets in the zone, man. It's like, watch, you just do not want to mess with that dude at all. Like that dude could literally kill you if you wanted to. But like I said, he's an awesome dude. Like just a great guy.
That was the name I've heard from a few different people. It was Jake Latimer was the crazy one, or one of the crazy ones, anyways.
Yeah. So I gave you a few more there then.
Yeah. Some good ones there.
Levi Peters. I grew up. Well, we had some mutual friends, and you would come across, things. But this is well before his Iowa State days. Like I knew, what Levi was all about well before Iowa State, and I've seen him do some pretty dumb things.
Yeah. When so him and Tyler Leo came in. Tyler Leo was a walk-on from Ankeny, and they both came in, and it was they didn't play their first year, and they redshirted, and then it was off season, so we did these competitions, and so they picked captains, and then you got to pick these guys, and so I was one of the captains, and I can't remember if I picked Levi or if I had Leo, but I had one of them on like my team, and I'll never forget it because it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. We had we did this tug of wars, and so they had like this big round whatever tug of war thing. It had handles on each side, and then so you get it. Your goal was to get the other person to break loose of the tug of war thing, and these guys. So Leo and Levi Peters, they went for probably 15-20 minutes, and neither one of them ever let go. There was blood. I mean, sweat everywhere. The whole team was like around them, like just yelling. It was one of the most chaotic, crazy, cool things I've ever been a part of. And after that, like the amount of respect that those guys gained, like just from that one thing was insane. And then, like I said, Levi went on to, earn a scholarship and play a role in the program. And it was awesome. Neither one of them, it was like they were fighting for their like life at Iowa State, and it literally ended up in a draw because neither one of them would have ever let go. And they got done and they like couldn't like lift their hands, and like they're like walking around and there's like blood and cuts all over them. And it was one of the coolest things at my time at Iowa State.
So someone in the comments here, I don't know if this is an inside joke or what, but someone says if Lat gets brought up, Matt Tofuo.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Is there something there?
That's my buddy. So do you remember Matt?
I mean, I like remember seeing
linebacker, right?
But like, yeah, he's a linebacker.
Yeah. No, those guys were roommates. So Lat and Matt were roommates, and so that was my buddy Riley. And so we, in the summertime, they had a place, and so we'd go over and chill with them and have a good time. So yeah, thanks, Riley.
All right, let's see. Do you guys got any more questions for Josh, or we can?
I mean, we talked about like every other coach besides Paul Rhodes tonight. So
that is true. We haven't even talked about Paul Rhodes. Yeah. I guess what's
give us your favorite Paul Rhodes story?
Yeah, do you got a good Paul Rhodes story?
Honestly, I mean, it's probably like the one that everybody knows about is the Nebraska one. Like after we beat Nebraska, and we came in and yeah, I'm so proud. Like that's honestly like probably my favorite memory of him. I'm nothing crazy. I like Paul. Paul's a good guy and was a good coach, and no crazy stories really. But it was interesting because I was, like I said, I was a Chiswick recruit, and so I was very appreciative that Paul ended up honoring my scholarship after Chiswick left, and so I like Paul.
Was he so when we saw him on the field, he was pretty calm most of the time, but then obviously had his fiery moments and stuff like that too. I mean, was it behind the scenes, is he pretty like kind of calm and focused guy like he is on the sideline too, or is he a little bit different on game day?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he was overall pretty calm and collected. I think a lot of his maybe, if he did have any like snaps or like freakouts or anything like that, that weren't like generated at the team as a whole, would probably be more on the defensive side, because, he just has that defensive background. So a lot of times he would spend, most of his time over on the defensive side and helping out coach down there and stuff like that. So, that would probably be a question for some of the defensive guys during that era.
might have to see if we can get some. We need to get Levi Peters on this show, is what we need to do.
Oh, I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would.
He's probably stuck in a wood somewhere, like with no internet or cell reception.
Levi Peters live
living off the land. Yeah.
Like Levi Peters live from the tree stand.
Probably have to go hiking in the hills of Gilmore City just to find him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Doing his own thing. He built his own cabin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It wouldn't even shock me. No.
Yeah. Yep. No doubt. So.
All right. Let's see here. You guys got any more questions for Josh?
No, but we'll keep him on though
we're gonna keep him on for our special segment, Aiden versus the 90s. So
let's see
what we got here. Hold on, I need to pull up the video.
You're supposed to have that ready before.
I know. I missed that. It's hold on. It's our special segment, Aiden versus the 90s. Okay. Where'd Matthias go?
He's gone. He's like, nope, I'm out.
Oh no, Aiden's done. Oh, Aiden's gone. Oh, what the hell, Aiden?
He's done.
The clip literally made him vanish. Oh my god.
He's got a Mitch.
I'm ready for greatness.
He literally
freaking mess.
He's doing this just to piss me off. I'm triggered right now.
What is this?
This is great.
All right. So actually, Matthias has the questions for Aiden tonight. So we'll be in charge. So Aiden will get first crack at it, and then Josh and I will take second guesses at it if Aiden doesn't get it.
This is crazy. Really brought out it. All right, Aiden or Trash Bisky.
Easy killer.
What is the name of Disney's first ever DVD animated film? They released it on DVD. What was their first ever one?
Can I get the year?
No,
What?
because I don't
No.
even know the year.
Wow.
It was in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Gonna go with Lion King.
On DVD.
Yep. Anybody else got a guess?
First Disney movie on DVD. I'm gonna say Tarzan.
Damn.
Is it
Josh,
a Bug's
you got
Life?
one? No.
Was it? So was
Looks
it
like
a?
this Pixar.
Was it like one that was made originally with a VHS and then they redid it?
I think they released it on
DVD?
both. They released it on both DVD and VHS. So
So
it
the
was just-
movie
Ooh.
actually came out the first time in the 90s.
correct.
Okay, it wasn't like a remaster. It wasn't like Sleeping Beauty or some shit where it was like,
Mm.
okay. Trying to think what else it would be.
Man, this is tough now. I was hoping you'd say that it was just a remake that they made into their first DVD.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm trying to think of the movies like,
Well, you guys are really thinking hard on
yeah, I mean,
is it like an obvious
I would-
one?
this. If you're ready for the answer, I'll fire it at you.
I want to. I want to take like one more guess at it. I want to say
I'll give you a hint. They just remade it and they released it on to
Mulan.
Disney. Yep.
Mulan. Yeah, yep, that's what. Yeah.
Mulan.
Yeah, I never saw that.
you've never seen Mulan.
I haven't seen any Disney princess movies.
Oh,
She really
Aiden.
count. Yeah, probably does. All right.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
you
Mulan's a Disney princess, but
let's. I think you might get this one. If you said 300 gets you to the Hall of Fame.
oh wait, hold
so
on. You need
That's
to you need
right.
to have the sound effect, Matthias.
I'm not running it.
Oh, what the hell? Okay, whatever. You know, that's fine.
All right, Aiden or Trash Bisky. What is the name of the highest grossing film in 1998?
Wait, 1998.
I don't know.
Do we get any sort of hint
I'm
on this?
I'm
I don't
trying
know. I was 8 years old.
to.
Specifically 1998.
Yep. Think I'll give you like a musical reference in the movie, all right? Think Steven Tyler.
Armageddon.
Yep. Nailed it.
All right.
Do I get a point for that?
You
Nope.
absolutely do not.
All right. Now I'm trying to throw you some lobs here so you can hit a home run here. So now we are going to dive into your wheelhouse of Chicago Bears 1990s. I know you know everything about this. We're going straight to 1990. The Bears finished 11-5 and made it to the playoffs that year. Who was the quarterback that led that team?
Let's see. McMahon left in 88, right?
I don't know. You tell
I
me.
think. Was it a Harbaugh?
Nailed it.
Damn,
Jim
that's a good
Harbaugh.
guess. I was gonna say Harbaugh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh. Give him the music,
Hey,
dude.
one
Oh
for
yeah,
three.
yeah. I get
One
him
for
music.
three.
I get him the music. Okay, that's fine. All right, good. Nice job, Aiden.
Brad is off his game tonight.
What the hell, Brad? You're supposed to be our trivia expert, and you just failed.
These aren't easy by any means.
Like,
Those
you mean-
were significantly easier than the ones Levi has tossed out the first 2 weeks.
That's true. Yeah.
Mine were not hard.
You tossed out one that people thought Gigapet, and then it turned out to be some Japanese remake.
That's because you're all idiots. It's fine. I was right.
Whatever.
You're just a communist.
All right, that was Aiden versus the 90s.
Ridiculous.
Excellent. All right, Josh, we appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us. We'll be getting in touch with you to see if you can hook us up with any other new guests.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to
Steel
help.
Jance is your first mission.
All right,
Oh,
I'll get on it.
man, that would be just.
Wide Right Natty Light,
Shit.
Steel Jans correspondent Josh Lenz.
We're going live
Josh Lynn's
to
reporting
Josh
live from
in
Steel Jance's front yard.
the middle of the woods. Josh is live.
That's right.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Josh. Enjoyed it. It's a good time.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me, and like I said, let me know if I can ever help out.
Absolutely, will do. So thank you for coming on. We'll talk to you again sometime.
Take care.
So that was Josh Lenz, former Iowa State wide receiver. Good dude. That was entertaining.
I'm really thrilled to know that Steel Jans is indeed alive and his social media accounts are real.
The way he described that as he's like, yeah, he's alive.
That's literally all of our reactions, though.
That was honestly, it was a lot of our reactions, but like the fact that Josh Lenz was that he, like a former teammate, was like, hey, he's alive. Whatever. It's like
they're all thinking the same things we are.
That's true. They are all thinking the same things we are. But that was cool. Easily my favorite though was his reaction to that old video to his song.
There's about 5 seconds left on that video if people really wanted to go find it that we just couldn't quite.
Yeah, we're gonna cut that one out. But yeah, so we'll see how long Josh leaves it up on his YouTube page. He's gonna have to leave that up or see if he pulls it down. But for other topics for today, should we talk about basketball first? Got a couple new players.
Hype train.
Oh, I've got one. Basketball hype train. There we go.
So should we start with our I'm glad that we have a guy that got smart and actually transferred from a fake program to a real program, leaving Kansas to come to Ames, Iowa, and it's our man Tristan Inaruna. I think that's
he's from the Netherlands.
He's from the Netherlands. So this is actually his highlights on the Netherlands national team are significantly better than this one's Kansas because Kansas hates real talent, obviously. So that's why he came to
famous for blowing talent.
Yep. So they wasted this guy. He's in Ames now, and 6'9", has a giant ass wingspan. Shooting forward. This guy almost.
You just call him a shooting forward.
What's a shooting forward?
What the hell is that?
Damn, small forward. I do this every time.
You never don't call it shooting forward.
I know.
I've never heard you call it small forward on the first try.
I know.
We're playing 2K.
I do it all the time. Anyway, small forward. Anyways, so yeah, dude, this guy kind of reminds me of like the not so much Nader, but like
he does remind me a little bit of Nader. He did when I first saw a few of his clips, he did remind me a lot of Abdel Nader.
Yeah,
this guy kind of guy.
I think they're kind of banking on, and this goes for all the him and the guy from Minnesota is they're kind of just banking on odds to kind of unleash the real true potential because this guy was a top 70 recruit coming into Kansas, so there is talent there. It just hasn't been able to be fully unleashed or unlocked yet.
Well, I think he's a pretty good athlete if I remember correctly too. So like he could be. Depending on what is kind of his work, his on court work ethic looks like, he could be kind of a really nice like a junkyard dog kind of guy, kind of a Dustin Hogue or Melvin Edgem type, where he just goes in, gets rebounds, does his type of thing.
But you're really seeing a common theme though with these guys that can defend, that have high end offensive potential that just haven't quite been reached.
Yeah, a lot of these guys that they've been signed to have really good motors too. They play hard on defense. They play hard on offense. They rebound, do things like that, which is going to be a really welcome sight for us. And you look at this guy. His shooting form is a little wonky, but it seems like it works for him. But he's just like a lot of the other guys that are in this class. He's a high ceiling kind of guy. I mean, that's a nice post move right there for him. Nice little hook shot right there. He's a nice little player that he doesn't need to be the leading scorer right away or anything like that. I mean, he can just be a developmental prospect and it's totally fine.
Yep. And so he's kind of like might be the last ad on the transfer market for Iowa State. And there is one guy left. I'm going to pull up his Cameron Fletcher from Kentucky. It remains to be seen yet for him, but I'm just going to slap up his highlights here too.
Do you think we have a shot at him?
I didn't think before, but apparently that's changed in the last 24 hours. They have a better shot now than they ever did. And I don't know.
I've never watched his highlights, but just watching his shooting form is I like his shooting form. He's got a nice wide base.
So, right? And this is something if they add him. Iowa State currently right now, if they took the total recruiting rankings, it's the highest rating ever starting group for Iowa State in history. And you add this guy in, you got 7 guys or 6 guys right away that were like former
4 stars or better.
4 stars or better recruits. So the talent is going to be tremendous off the wall of, I guess, the guys that haven't been quite unlocked just yet. So this is so he left Kentucky in transfer portal. I do not know who would be the competing teams on this. I just know that Otzelberger has been pushing really hard to get him, and that's even with pairing it with the same type of position player like Unaruna is.
So do we just have one scholarship left then?
One scholarship for this year. And the unfortunate side of this thing is, some of these guys that they're bringing in on the transfer market are going to have multiple years left. So, and now we've added in 2 guys that are going to play in the 2022 class, and a potential third coming in as well with a shooting forward that they're going after. Small forward. Your time. Just ignore that. And small forward that coming in. So there might be some tough decisions coming for TJ Otzelberger, not following this season where some guys may be asked to leave.
I don't know if he'd get to the point where he'd asked to leave. I'm sure he's probably looking at some of these guys as like as potential that they could leave after next year or something like that. I mean, there's no way he's just like taking everybody with like, or he's going to take as many people as he can this year, fill the roster, and then kick them off next year. I mean, I don't see that being the case. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I don't see that kind of being the thing.
So Aiden has pulled up here the current recruiting rankings now for.
And it has nothing to do with us being one of like 4 schools to have 2 players signed.
Yeah, definitely doesn't have anything to do with that. But but still the people they do have though are good players. I mean, that's not to say. I mean, it's a 92.92 average there. Who did Michigan State? That's 100. That's a perfect 100.
Oh, let's click and find out.
Because I mean, like Chet Holmgren has a perfect 100. Oh, Imani Bates.
Oh, Imani Bates. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's kind of like he's a really, really big time, like all time good recruit.
So to go off this, the top 4 recruiting ranking right now is the addition of Eli King today to go with Taman Lipsey.
Yep.
And this guy,
I would assume that Taman's the 3-star in that. I would assume he's probably he'll jump up to a 4-star. I think
if not, he'll be pretty damn close. I just don't know. I mean, depending on how much AAU ball they get in this summer, I don't know what the AAU circuit's like. Because that's
I would assume they're probably going to be back to a largely full schedule for summer AAU ball.
A lot of the times that's where it's kind of like when football players go to camps and things like that. That's where they're going to get the bump. So technically, Eli King should be rated higher than what he is, but he actually sat out his junior year last year. He did play AAU last summer, but then he had a meniscus injury this past year. He's still out now. The plan is for him to start back up playing ball in June this summer, and him and Taman Lipsey are actually coincidentally on the same AAU team.
Yeah, there was someone I can't remember who it was had a video on Twitter of Taman Lipsey throwing an alley-oop.
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, here it is, right here. to Eli King. So that's pretty cool. Yep.
So at that he knew of TJ Otzelberger well before Otzelberger came to Iowa State, which if Taman Lipsey didn't exist, this guy probably would have been offered number 1 for Otzelberger when he took the job. So, but Taman Lipsey
banks open
has existed for quite some time. And do
we know what percentage this guy's shooting in high school from 3? Is he a legitimate? Is he a good 3-point shooter? I guess I mean, it looks like he's a nice scorer.
It's more like a slasher.
Well, honestly, it's funny though. Is his high school highlights so far? He's kind of a slasher, but funny enough, his high school highlights so far kind of look like Joe Weiskamp's.
Yeah. Well, and people were worried about because he actually on his high school team is more of he's the primary ball handler. You can see him handling the ball here plenty of times on AAU side, but people were worried about him pairing with Taman Lipsey and things like that because they're both primary ball handlers. But they obviously have played together on an AAU squad and know how to play well and feed off of one another. So it's not going to be any issue. So people just need to let that go by the wayside. There's going to be no problem there, and I think Altsberger knows that, which is good. So,
I like the stop and pops I'm seeing here, though. Nice block there.
You never can have enough people that can handle the ball.
You can never have too many ball handlers. You can never have too many shooters.
What about the Brooklyn Nets?
The Brook.
Only one ball. Only one ball.
Not enough balls to carry.
But funny enough, they really only have like 2 ball handlers. Just a lot of ball dominant people.
So so speaking back into Cameron Fletcher there, if Iowa State is able to land Cameron Fletcher, you're looking at, I mean, you could be looking at a borderline bubble team right now, if not more. I don't know. It just depends.
Which
if
is amazing.
People's potential unlocks. So you got to get that first. So
given the absolute dumpster fire this roster was in like a month ago, I mean, it's been nothing short of miraculous to see what Austin's done with the roster.
This is fun to hear all these guys that we're getting. Like
I'm having more fun watching. I'm having more fun following the basketball program right now than I have in 4 or 5 years, at least.
I was driving home from Ames yesterday and just put on Juicy Wiggle like 3 straight times. It was awesome.
I respect that. So if they do get Cameron Fletcher, obviously you only have room to start 5 guys. So they're going to be legitimately about 10 people deep. You could play 10 guys next year,
the great part is there's no expectation. There's even with all these people coming in, I still encourage people to treat next year as year 0. No matter what, he could bring in. Imani Bates could, or Chet Holmgren could flip his commitment to Iowa State right now. The number 1 recruit in the country could flip his commitment to Iowa State right now to fill that last roster spot, and I would still tell you to treat it as year 0.
Well, I don't know why he wouldn't, seeing what we got now.
Yeah, seeing what we've got now. I mean, feels
he'd be dumb not to.
Yeah,
and even when you think about like Matt Campbell's year 0. Right. Compared to TJ's year 0, I think he's already miles ahead.
TJ has a much better year 0 right now than Campbell had. TJ's roster has somehow turned into being in much better shape than Campbell's was going into his year 0.
Well, right. Granted, there's not as many players to mess around with, but
we wouldn't be saying this right now, because if say it's a normal year, and these guys couldn't transfer all willy-nilly for this year, we probably wouldn't be saying this right now if it was a normal year.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have to work with the situation you're given.
You're missing the point here. The COVID has been a true blessing. That's not right to say. COVID is not a blessing, but the situation that arose from COVID happening and these guys being able to transfer has benefited Iowa State.
Isn't the new rule though that you can transfer once?
Correct. Yeah, that is now. So
it hasn't actually officially passed yet, but I think it's expected to pass the one-time transfer rule. So
I think that was going to happen regardless.
That was going to happen no matter what.
Yeah. But that wouldn't have existed for this year. Let's just say COVID never happened. We'd definitely 100% be a year 0, but he's going to get a free year 0, that he could potentially make an NCAA tournament.
Yeah. That's the amazing thing here is all of a sudden we went from complete and total just tire fire to if things go well and people if Tyrese Hunter is as good as we think he is, and a few of these transfers pan out,
you're
looking at a bubble team.
It's like we're going from Mike Glennon to Mitch Trubisky. It's just a whole world of change, and we're going to get better.
How do we kick him out of this call?
The worst producer of ever. Stall time. It's just.
I'm here all week.
I mean, Mike Glennon.
That's my problem with what's going on here. To
be fair, Mike Glennon was really freaking bad.
Yeah. Whatever.
Trubisky sucks.
Anyway, so all of that we got football. We've got some football stuff going on too with some recruits. Will McLaughlin committing.
Yeah, so the entire
football hype train.
Mike Rose, Jake Hummel, and Orion Vance have their replacements lined up for when they are done at their time at Ames.
Yeah,
and could I don't know, they're all high level linebackers. I don't think we have anything to worry about for the level of play of linebacker going forward. Obviously they're gonna have to get adjusted to the realms of college football, but these guys are going to be really nice players for Iowa
They're
State.
all like guys like Cole Peterson. They'll get plenty of snaps this year and stuff like that too. I mean, so they won't be like just a bunch of randos just jumping in there and figuring
Yeah,
it out.
that's the thing is that there are very capable linebackers sitting right behind those three guys right now that like, you know, they might get lost in the fold because there's these three recruits that just came in. Like Matt Campbell sees them as the future of their linebackers, but also, you know, like you said, Cole Peterson, linebacker as well. He's really good too. So, hey, it's a good problem to have, you know. I like good problems. I hate bad problems, like bad
when you're
quarterback play.
when you're like overrun with talent right now and you're like, shit, I don't know how these guys are going to get playing. Like, that's a good problem. Kind of like the quarterback situation. It's like, we know that Hunter Deckers and Nate Bowman can both play or whatever, but, you know, Brock Purdy up there. So it's good, you know, good problem. And same with running backs with having Jarrell Brock back there, you know.
Yeah, so speaking of more problems coming, so more good problems.
More problems.
Iowa State, they're kind of hot and heavy. I think this is going to turn out to be a two running back class that's coming up down the pipe here. You know, we got a shooting forward. Anyways. So they got two running back offers right now, and I think they got the Eli Sanders coming in next year. So Jarrell Brock, obviously he's kind of the heir apparent to Breece Hall.
Yep.
Coming up. So Breece Hall he's gone after this season.
He should be gone. If he's not gone, we're gonna be pushing him out and say you need to go after this season.
And I think they know Eli Sanders he's kind of like a Kene Nwangu type guy. I think they think by the time he gets on on campus this summer that he's going to be the guy that's going to be the return guy next year.
He's a big time athlete.
He's got speed and all that. Hey, we got Jaden Gray in here.
Yeah, and he brought a good pull there. Actually, Deion Silas, the running back this year, he's a nice back. I mean, he's small, but he's quick and shifty in space. Man, he can scoot.
I guess the wider point of this is Matt Campbell's building an insane running back pipeline right now.
Yeah.
Where guys want to come play running back at Iowa State.
I mean, look at the pedigree. Look who's been pumping out, though. I mean, he had his guys at Toledo. Now he had David. He's about to have Breece. Because right now, I'm seeing like the draft boards. Breece is running back 1 for the draft next year, from what I'm seeing. And so you're gonna have that. You know, maybe a back end of the first round pick right there, or second round or early second round pick at the latest, anyways.
Yep.
And then you got Jarrell Brock right behind him. Now you got Deion Silas. And now you got Eli Sanders. I mean, and don't forget Rory Walling back there either.
Elite talent.
Like Flacco.
Talent. That's not even sarcastic either. I mean, that's Rory Walling is an incredible football player.
He turned the tide of the Texas game himself.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Oregon game. I mean, he just kept doing stuff.
Give him the ball.
Yeah.
Goal line situations.
Rory Walling running behind Howard Brown.
Oh.
Or Howard Brown handing it off to
Howard Brown handing it off to Rory Walling.
Yes, on the 4th and 1 at the 1 yard line.
Yes. that's our goal line package right there. Jaden Gray asking how we feel about the D line room.
Oh, you already know the answer to that question, man. Elite talent, dude.
Elite. I mean, but
even with yourself coming in,
I say for real though. I mean, like, look at that room. I mean, you got Annie back, you've got Will McDonald, you got Zach Peterson, you got Blake Peterson, you've got freaking, I don't know. There's so many guys in there. There's so many guys in that room. I can't even remember them all off the top of my head.
I mentioned the future of the linebackers earlier. The future of the D line is in pretty good shape too.
Yeah, you know, and then we mentioned Howard Brown, we've talked about him, we've gushed about him before. I mean, that's his explosiveness is insanity. Then you got Jaden coming in. You know, that group is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, competing for playing time in that group has got to be a war. Man, there's so much talent in there. I mean, right now, I mean, Will McDonald is easily the most underappreciated pass rusher in the country. I mean, he's incredible.
Is he going to set the sack record this year or next year?
This year.
This year, I think he'll set it this year.
I wasn't sure what he was at.
I think is he like 9 short? I think something like that. He's basically one good season short.
Yeah, right.
Actually. I think he'll get it.
He's last season away from doing it with more games.
With more games available to him. Yeah. I mean, you can, but look at any position though, and look and see what's behind there. And you're looking, he's like, man, there's a lot of talent right there. It's not like if, the defenses, may lose all 3 linebackers this year. You'll probably lose Greg. You'll definitely lose Greg Eisworth. You might lose a few. You might lose half the defense or more. But the guys are coming behind them. Like, you're not even worried about it. Like, you're not worried about anybody. You're not worried. You mean the outside media is going to look at it like, well, they lost Mike Rose and Ryan Vance and Jake Hummel and Greg Eisworth. They lost all these guys and Wazirike. They're going to, the outside media is going to say, well, we're losing all the, I would say it's losing all those guys. They're going to take a step back. But we're sitting here saying like the guys behind them are.
Yeah, Matt Campbell's done it so well over the last 4 years of utilizing that 4 game for freshmen and things like that he gets guys reps and experience in big time games and things like that. And we saw, you see a lot of, you go back and watch film from last year and you see a lot of different guys out there, and it helps. Yeah. They're ready to rock and roll when they get their time called and when it's their time to be the primary starter and things like that. So
they're ready to go.
It's going to be no different this year.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that everybody's sitting back there like for the linebackers, since we may lose all 3 linebackers after the season. You got Cole Peterson, you got Deshaun Davis, you've got Eric Horn is back there that's played a bunch of snaps. Yep. You've got lots of guys back there that not only have played a lot of snaps, but played really good snaps behind there. We'll see what the defensive backs. So we got Anthony Johnson's obviously got his spot wrapped up, but you got Tavon Kyle and Datrone Young fighting for that other spot, and maybe TJ Tampa back there too. You've got lots of talent stacked behind every position, which is great.
And the best defensive coordinator in the country.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt. But it's not even just the best defensive coordinator, but look at their position coaches. Tyson Veits won a linebacker, won an assistant coach. Deion Broom,
great coach.
Oh, Deion's a superstar. Deion's a superstar.
Huge addition to the coaching staff. Obviously, losing DK McDonald wasn't great, but I think Deion Broomfield was the best guy to replace him.
I'm not sure they could have found a better replacement.
Super
not worried at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Matt Capone is back there, and Eli Rashid on the defensive line. And you go to the offensive side, they've got Nate Shielhaas and Jeff Myers. They've got an incredible collection of talent on the staff. How could you? It should be no shock to anybody that these guys are ready to go as soon as their number is called. They're ready to go. Oh, I forgot Isaiah Lee back there on the defensive line too, and Tucker Roberts. And there's lots of great. I'm starting to remember more of these now that I've had a chance to think about it. But it's great because after this kind of group of seniors, Brock Purdy and Mike Rose and whatever, after they leave, no matter what happens this season, everyone's gonna say like, "Wow, I would say it's gonna be taking a step back because they lose all this talent and stuff like that." But right behind them is a bunch of guys that are every bit as talented as the guys leaving, and that's the thing, is that's what makes you look at the program right now and say and believe that they have staying power, that they're not going away, and that's great. That's great.
You look at Brad. I'll touch on your comment here. I think what Matt Campbell has done, and obviously a coach wants to have a lot of money, and they want to make money when it's a profession, as Josh Lenz was saying earlier. But Matt Campbell has done a really good job when he does get these promotions, or I should say promotions, but contract extensions, that a lot of that money that he receives goes to those position guys. And I think he wants to keep these guys in. Obviously, the one I would be worried about is Nate Shielhaas. But yeah, I think he likes it here, and but he's also a guy that could be an offensive coordinator a lot of places. Mm-hmm. And he's just as good, which, I would like to keep him here and be an offensive coordinator eventually. But what do you do with Tom Manning? Are you just going to kick him out? But Tom Manning also, I think, has head coaching aspirations of his own. So, losing position coaches sucks, but it's also
It's also saying you're doing something right.
Yeah, we're doing something right. So like I would feel worse if guys weren't trying to leave than, like deliberately like, oh, I got to stay because I'm comfortable and I won't, get a job anywhere else. Like,
well, and you look at like the guys that have left, look at what they left for though. I mean, DK McDonald was going to the Eagles. And like when Alex Golesh left, he left to be an offensive coordinator at UCF, and now he's the offensive coordinator at Tennessee. So he's taken some big time steps up. I'm trying to think who else left this offseason.
Sorry, Jordan, I'll touch on this really quick, but we kind of shifted.
Yeah, we'll come back to this. Who was the other besides DK McDonald? Who else? Who was the other position coach that left?
Wasn't it just Alex Golesh and DK?
No. This year it was DK McDonald and who else left? Somebody else left.
Remember.
I'm trying to remember. Why can I not remember who else left?
Was it the running backs coach?
Yeah, well, Mick McCall. Yeah,
his contract was terminated, and then they just shifted everybody around.
They just moved everybody around.
Yeah, that was the only other one, I think.
Maybe it was.
I think that's it.
That was the only one. Yeah, but Golesh and McDonald have both moved on to really big time opportunities. I'm sure that DK McDonald has had offers to go other places, but he waited. Now he's got an NFL job. Golesh had a chance to go be an offensive coordinator at at maybe the most prestigious G5 school there is in the country. And so, I mean, it's not like they're just leaving for the first chance they can get for the slightest promotion they can get, where, someone leaves to take an offensive coordinator job at a G5 school, or not G5, that was what Golesh did, but not just any G5 school or or an FCS program. They're not just leaving for anything.
Conveniently, Alex Golesh was in the running to be the UCF head coach when their head coach left to be Tennessee, but
when Heupel left for Tennessee,
now he's at Tennessee. So
if he ended up being the head coach at UCF, that could have been disastrous.
I was actually kind of worried about that if he would actually become the head coach at UCF. He was going to be making some calls up to Ames, Iowa.
Oh, it wouldn't shock me at all if he was going to try to poach some people for a coordinator, like Jeff Myers for a coordinator spot, or something like that.
Kind of coincidentally coincided with Matt Campbell's contract extension. They were kind of around that same time.
Yeah, getting the assistants paid and all that.
And then he ended up going to Tennessee anyways, and it really didn't matter. So
right, but good for him though, man. That just being a couple years away from Iowa State to being the offensive coordinator in SEC school, that's huge. So very awesome.
We'll run back here.
Running back.
Sorry, we tailed off to the defensive line here, but. So the running backs that are potentially coming in for the recruiting range are one is Caleb Johnson. He's out of Ohio. It's kind of between us and Iowa right now. I think some of the main recruiting experts are kind of leaning Iowa State for that one. And our friend Matt Swain is actually, I think he's picked him with a seven confidence rating to come to Iowa State. He's an 86 overall composite rating. So very good running back. And then the other one is Corin Adams, another 7 composite or a 7 confidence rating by the 24/7 guys to come to Iowa State. He's going to end up being about an 88 composite rating for 247. But he's out of Arizona pipeline that has suddenly bursted with running backs with Eli Sanders last year, and now potentially Corin Adams. It's between us and Arizona.
I tell you what, though, we're establishing that Arizona pipeline at just the right time, because Arizona is picking up. Like their recruiting is actually, if you look at kind of ratings based on population, they're keeping up with Georgia right now as far as just the overall quality of recruits that Arizona is putting out right now. They're keeping up with like Georgia, which is incredible because Georgia is on like a big time recruiting hot streak right now. So it's good. It's establishing that Arizona pipeline is probably gonna prove to pay huge dividends. Jaden's got another question. Are we full stadium this year? I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be. I mean, unless
Jamie Pollard's planning on it.
I mean, unless something with COVID takes a pretty gnarly turn before then, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I would assume that we're going to have a full stadium.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that the Raiders stadium in Las Vegas will be full this fall too.
27,000 is all they're letting in.
To the Raiders stadium?
That's full capacity for a UNLV game.
Oh yeah, because they don't open up the upper bowl for UNLV games.
Which 27,000. Let's just assume, I don't know, 5,000 of those are
UNLV fans, which means they're going to have to, the 20,000 Cyclone fans are going to be fighting for tickets.
Yeah. I don't know if 20,000 Iowa State fans are going to go, but there's going to be a fair chunk going.
Well, there's going to be, I wouldn't surprise me at all if you see a very bowl game-esque crowd out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like more people than the camp, more people than went to the camp.
Will there be full 27,000? Probably not, but 20,000?
It wouldn't surprise me at all if there was 20. I don't think there's going to be any problem trying to get enough Cyclone fans there to fill out.
We've been talking about, I don't know, I've mentioned to my wife a couple times, but it gets kind of hard to go places when you have a child all of a sudden,
Yeah.
But anyway, she's like, oh yeah, let's just drive. I'm like, do you realize how far it is to go from
that's not a short drive
and to Las Vegas in for a weekend trip? Not happening.
Yeah, let's see how like a 17, 18 hour drive, 21 hours,
21 hours,
almost about 21 hour drive. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be
a nice
cool
drive. Once you get
the
past
Rocky Mountains and stuff.
Once you get past Nebraska, it's a nice drive.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd do it if we stayed longer, but I probably
if
I stay in Las Vegas more than a couple of days, I'm probably in some trouble.
You'd have to take just about a week off and leave like on a Wednesday or something like that, and because you'd have to split the drive up into at least 2 days probably.
Yeah.
And then so you spend Wednesday, Thursday driving. You're there Friday, Saturday for the game. Then you're immediately driving back on Sunday. And you're getting back like either late Monday or early or midday Tuesday or something like that. And
this man said I had to take a break driving.
21 hours is a
challenge accepted.
That's a long day.
Let's do a live show of 21 hour stream of me driving to Las Vegas.
Dude, I tell you what though, I know there's at least a group of us that are planning on going down to Norman, Oklahoma for that game. So we may figure out a way to do like a on the road podcast or something like that for that game. Because I'm going down to Norman.
You guys can do that on the road. I'll sit in Estaz live.
Yeah, we need to talk to them about doing a live show at Estaz. That would be a lot of fun.
I mean, Aiden and I could do it really easily. We'll just walk.
That's true. True. Yeah, you guys could just go there. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, so we got any more news to touch on for this week, or about ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think other than we're just kind of all eyes on the recruiting realm right now. I don't know how quickly Iowa State's going to fill that last basketball scholarship that we have alluded to already, but
they may not. They may save it for a mid-year transfer.
I think it sounds like they're going to fill it. It's either Cameron Fletcher or somebody that nobody really knows yet. It's like a hidden gem, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's fine with me. All right. So I think we're ready to wrap her up for this week, boys.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. Everybody, thank you for watching this week's episode of the Nightcap with Josh Lenz earlier. Thank you to him again for coming on. So for Matthias Schwarzkopf, Aiden Wyatt, I'm Levi Stevenson. Hope everybody had a great time watching the episode. We'll see you guys again next week.